The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Friday in the Riv, and we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. And
is it looking a little green?
Yeah, it is looking a little. It must be the lighting.
It's got to be.
Yeah. It even the background looks a different color today.
Yeah.
It's the must be the fluorescence.
Yeah, we're not sick, so.
Yeah, well, yeah. And if we are,
although we're sick in the head.
Yeah, if we are, we don't know it anyway. So that it's irrelevant. So. We got. I know you got a couple things you want to hit, and I got a lot of stuff to talk about.
I got a couple of things I want to address right off the bat. This Griner release, okay? I was listening to the radio, one of the talk radio stations, and people are honestly upset about this. They think that the Marine should have been released, not Griner.
Well, they both should have been released.
I agree.
You're releasing one of the biggest murderers in the history of the planet.
Right.
You don't think Putin, you know, you don't think Putin was going to make the deal because he wants that guy?
Well, according to what's been reported, the deal was this. It was either Griner or nobody.
That's not true.
And I don't believe that.
No, it's not true, because originally they said it was one or the other, the Marine or Griner.
Right. That's what I had heard, yeah.
And then they changed, because the White House must call them and shut up. We don't want the president to say that he picked her over the Marine. And that story disappeared. And I saw that. I saw that actual news thing where it said he could have brought home the Marine. It's been here almost 4 years.
But I'll tell you, you know, this is what people are saying on talk radio. They're saying that she checked off all the boxes. Gay, woman, black. And they believe that that's why she was chosen to be released. And personally, I think she did check off all the boxes.
Well, she did.
Now,
the reality is that...
one gentleman asked, what would have happened if it was a gay, black NBA star who was a male? Would it have been Whalen or this male? They don't know. I said... To me, the liberal...
I'm going with the NBA male too, because you know the Biden administration is only interested in checking the boxes. All you have to do is look at the cabinet. It's a clown show over there, and every one of them was picked because of not doing the ability to do their job.
Right.
It's because they checked different boxes.
Right, and I think that's what the whole decision was made on, was the fact that the right boxes were checked. And Biden was looking at satisfying multiple groups. And by doing this release, he did. But the one thing that people forgot is this is a woman who hated America.
Oh, yeah.
She would not pledge allegiance to the flag. She would not stand for the national anthem. And they say, well, that's her right to kneel.
She actually didn't want the national anthem played.
Yes, she didn't want it played. Right.
So.
And... you know, they say, well, that's her right, and da-da-da. Well, yeah, it's her right. Well, guess what? It's America's right to say the hell with you.
Yeah, but isn't it amazing how much she now all of a sudden wants to come back to this country that she despises?
Right.
When she's actually exposed to what other countries are like, when she complains about how bad it is in this country with her making millions of dollars.
Right.
But listen, this gets back to one thing, CJ, and I gotta go there, because these people are, and they're doing exactly what they wanted. They're focusing on that one issue, checking the boxes.
Yep.
This is about a failure in leadership of the President of the United States not to look, Biden couldn't negotiate. He would be out-negotiated by a toilet bowl. They've already said in 40 years he's never made an accurate decision and a correct decision on a foreign policy. It's pathetic. Look, this guy was one of the biggest arms dealers in the world. The Russians wanted him, because he is a facilitator for a lot of other countries that help Russia do things and get things done. And now with the war going on and the United States supporting him, Putin wanted this guy back.
Of course.
This guy was a priority.
Right.
You're going to tell me that you couldn't negotiate both of them? Give me a break.
Exactly.
I mean, he would have said no, one or the other, and you go, okay, keep them both. He would have went, well, you know, they would have got both of them.
Yeah.
And it's a travesty. You know, Biden, I don't want to see any Americans left behind. Well, you left Americans behind in Afghanistan. They're still there, some of them.
Right. Right.
You don't care. All you care about is optics, kind of like the city of Fall River.
Right.
It's all about optics. So now you said they checked the box, and I agree. She'd been incarcerated for 9 months.
Whalen's been there for 4 years.
And she actually did have hash on her.
Right.
She did have drugs.
Right.
So she actually did commit a crime. But we were talking, ironically, the other show about harsh punishment. They gave her 9 years for having some hash. So, but the other guy's been in nearly 4 years. You know, a veteran.
Well, that's where we come into another issue. They say that he was dishonorably discharged or other than honorable discharge because he tried to commit larceny, alleged to commit larceny, et cetera, so they say he didn't deserve to be released. This is how the liberals are justifying this.
Yeah. Oh, but somebody who steals $400,000 worth of merchandise from Target, these organized retail criminals, you can't prosecute them because they're just misunderstood.
Right, exactly.
So,
exactly.
you know, let's not go into the dysfunctionalness of liberal thinking, because the liberal thinking is pretty simple. We can do anything we want, you know, murder anybody you want, but if you say a word that hurts us, you have to be put in jail.
Yep, that's the cancel culture.
That's the cancel culture.
Yep,
So.
that's for sure. Well, enough on that. Another thing I want to talk about real quick is Pam Laliberte.
Yes.
It seems like the judge has rendered a decision. Pam was attempting to get 2 felony obstruction and harassment charges dropped from her criminal case, but the judge denied her request. And Judge Coyne issued her ruling on Tuesday, indicating that she does not have the authority as judge to dismiss criminal charges prior to a defendant's arraignment, which we knew. We had already known that. So, apparently that on the 12th, when she returns to court, she's going to be arraigned. What's really interesting is the felony charges stem from Laliberte's alleged lying to police that she wasn't home in her New Boston Road apartment when they attempted to serve a warrant. She's also accused of calling her ex-lover, demanding he put a stop to the investigation or she would reveal their affair. Ooh, no kidding. Really? Big deal. We all knew. Kevin Reddington is involved, as you know.
Yes.
Okay, and so is attorney Nelia DeStefano, who represents the wife of the lover. This is a love triangle gone bad. You know,
Really bad.
people say three-ways are a great thing.
Not-
I'll tell you right now. Obviously, it didn't work out too well here.
Not as bad as the Bank Street quadrangle.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you right now. You and I both know why this was done this way.
Yeah.
This is political.
Sure.
Okay. Now, when she's arraigned, maybe the judge will dismiss the felony charges. I don't know. But if this had been you or I, we would have been arraigned day one. The first day we were in court.
Yep.
We would have been arraigned in that first day. So it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out for Pam. She won't know until after the new year. Maybe she'll start the new year off with a bang. We don't know. And, you know, I wish her all the luck in her case, and hopefully she does well. And we'll see what happens. And speaking of that, the City Council has scheduled a special meeting for January 3rd to elect a new president and vice president. They've already put that schedule out there. So,
Well, their priorities are right in line. Politics, right?
Right.
Their priorities are right there, as usual. But as you said, this whole thing now is another issue like this kidnapping, and this is problematic. Now, none of the parties want to pursue this case because they all got caught lying.
right.
The lover got caught lying, she got caught lying, the wife got caught lying. They're all lying.
Right.
And now that the truth has finally come out, which is again thing when this started. Remember we told everybody, you cool your jets. Don't start throwing her under the bus too.
Yep.
There's a lot more to there could be a lot more to this story. Let's let this thing play out, and it did.
Yep.
Again. But like I said, listen. Why don't we have the kid who told the police officer and seriously injured him in jail, who then again reappeared in court? He's wandering around the streets. It seems that the entire system is upside down. They have no priorities. And speaking about priorities, segues me into my next little thing. Our illustrious mayor was on the radio again, and he was like, just his cavalier attitude and cluelessness is beyond belief. There's two issues now, and he was on again. He supposedly said, it is alleged that he said, and I'm sure he did, but the other one I confirmed because I've actually got the video on my phone. He said, was hyping the training. Oh, well, $12, just jump on the thing and go up to Boston, grab an Uber, and spend your day in Boston. We talked about this a little bit in the last show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to pay $21 for a club sandwich. You're going to pay $12. You're not going to go up there alone. So you got to take a family to Boston. He forgets 63. But he never does his homework. See, that's the great thing about Paul. Paul thinks he's still at Durfee and he can BS everybody walking around with his hands in his pockets. He gives all this sage advice. Yeah, get on a train. We got to, you know how many people go to Boston to go to school? That's what he said. But I'm going to ask him the question he goes, ask us, give me a number. That was a rhetorical question. You should have said, do you realize we've got 500 people that go to school and commute daily? Right. Do you know the number? That statement is absurd. And it's like, well, you know how many people go to Boston to school? No, I don't. But I will bet you that the majority of people who go to school full-time in undergrad are living in the Boston area or in Boston or in the dorms. Yeah, I will guarantee you that.
Yeah.
But see, Paul goes on there and he goes on to these friendly networks and just free associates everything. Well, number one, it may not be $12 because, again, you didn't do your homework. We went over this a while back. Ride is scarce in the MBTA first quarter. This is Commonwealth magazine from not too long ago.
I just sent you that last
This is an update, yeah. December 2nd.
Yeah.
They did a previous article. So right now they're looking at they're looking at ridership being down. They're looking at 1.7 billion this fiscal year, capital outlay. They're looking at all kinds of money, and the bottom line of this thing is T-fares may be going up and services may be cut.
Right.
So you're given advice, and then the other one, take an Uber. I'm not going to read all the stats, but he never does his homework.
No.
Ever.
No.
He never does his homework.
We do it for him.
Just grab an Uber. Well, guess what? This is from Uber. It is 40% more difficult. You got to wait 40% longer now for an Uber in Boston. It's also more expensive than in most cities in the United States. And this is the one that killed me. It is 147% harder to find an Uber in Boston than it is in New York City. Yeah, just grab an Uber. Don't worry. Paul said you can grab an Uber. Go up there, call Uber, and say, what happened? Paul told me I could get an Uber. Why am I sitting on a corner for 2 hours waiting for an Uber, and I'm paying triple what you pay in New York? I don't know. Maybe because he never does his homework. And that was on that issue. And then the other one, and we've got it here, and I don't know, we got in trouble the last time. You know, Larry wanted to sue us or something, but he was on his show again, free associating. And he said, Larry asked him a question, and we'll put the link on for you. You guys can watch the whole show on Facebook, because it's not us, it's on
Right.
Facebook. We didn't get it from Larry, we got it from Facebook. This is on Facebook. He said, asked him, well, what job do you like better, the mayor's job or the vice principal? Immediate answer, vice principal. Of course he would like the vice principal's job more. You don't have to make any decisions. But then he went on to totally discredit any attempt to make him look like he has a grasp on reality. He said that, yeah, you know, the vice principal's job prepared me to be a mayor. He said, you know, people don't think it prepares you to be in politics, but it does. He said, do you realize that I'm running around and I had to deal with the band club and parents and students? The band club? Really? The band? That's what you dealt with. This is what he dealt with. Again, shows he doesn't pay attention to any realities. He was in the school system for, 30 years. He was a school committeeman for a couple terms, and now he's the chairman and the mayor of the city. Has he looked at the statistics in those 40-so years of the Fall Rivers school system deteriorating? No, because he's saying that dealing with the band club equates to being with his city. We have, Paul, the children and the parents that are complaining to you are the people who you are throwing out because they can't afford their rents, whose children are on meal assistance programs, that have no money. They're some of the 63% of the people that you have said are poor in this city. But let's look at this 1921 to 1922 study from...
I mean, 2021 to 2022.
I'm sorry, 2021 to 2022. Oh, but I've got to correct that, because every once in a while on numbers I just start spewing them.
Yes.
But I think when I talked about Pearl Harbor, I said 24,000. It was 2,400 people that died and 1,000 wounded. I got the 1,000, but
Yeah.
I watched the show again, and it was like, okay. So we look at this. This is really disturbing. And we add more deans of students, more assistant superintendents, but it seems that public education throughout the country, but in this city that is continually underperforming, continues to underperform. And you're looking at these bar graphs, and you know, you can go look them up. We'll put the link to these things on here too. And it is Fall River Stats, because it is from the superintendent of schools. The other page that I have, it's from the superintendent in stats. But here's what it says. Mathematics, grades 3 through 8. Partially meeting expectations, not meeting expectations. We're only partially. The only one is not meeting expectations. So we've, mathematics grade 10, partially meeting expectations. Grade 10, English, partially, barely now meeting expectations. I don't know, maybe, look, I do not claim to be an educator. English in 3 through 8, partially exceed. If you don't learn English and math in 3 through the 8th grades, how are you going to ever learn math in high school?
Right. And this is one of the
So they're
reasons.
not educating. Now they can talk about high school results, but if you're unprepared, as you said more than once on this show, how many people have to get remedial courses when they come to college?
Right, that's what I was just going to say.
And this shows it. We are not meeting expectations in the lower grades. And we barely meeting it.
We're not even meeting it there
in
either.
English. And we're still in partial
Yep.
for math. But the thing is, how do you expect these children? And this guy is supposed to be. This is why he's totally clueless. You know, I don't know in psychology, do you know what inappropriate affect is?
Yes.
Yeah. It means being like, you're giving the wrong signal. Because you don't understand. You smile when somebody tells you somebody died or something like that. But it's like not being clueless fundamentally, and you don't really react the way you. Paul, getting on there and saying that dealing with the band club is like being a mayor. He doesn't like to make decisions. He doesn't look at stats. Your job has been your entire life to educate the children. And basically, through your entire tenure in the educational system, you have not succeeded. But what was your response? Inappropriate affect. You ignored it. You talk about making sure that the band club isn't pissed off, making sure that the PTO, now it's PTO, I think, not PTA, they don't get into fist fights or something like that because they all want to go to heaven. And this is the problem. But you said that basically your favorite job was being a vice principal. Of course it was, because you don't have to make any decisions. Do you have any idea the difference between being a mayor and he actually said, well, the only difference is now I deal with adults. That's a big difference, Paul. That's a big difference. These adults have to feed their children, keep a roof over their children's head and their heads, and make a living and try to survive in this city. That fundamental fact seems to have escaped you. You are not a mayor. You're like Mr. Rogers. What's that little jingle they used to have? Something in the neighborhood or something like that.
It's a beautiful day in the
there you
neighborhood.
go. And that's Paul. He wanders around singing that, even after a shooting. Oh, this is normally a quiet neighborhood. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. No, it's not. People are struggling in this city. We have nearly 19% people living in poverty. We have 63% who are classified as poor. Have you ever stopped to look at that? No, because you ignore that. You do not look at. You're a teacher. Oh, I don't think he ever. I think I'm wrong. I don't think he ever taught a day in a classroom.
I don't know.
That's what I was told.
Yeah, I don't know.
By a few teachers, and that may be wrong, but it may be right. But obviously, he misunderstands when he gets a job that it's not about the band club, and the music, the music club and the language club and keeping everybody happy. It's about doing your job and educating children. And apparently, through all this time and all this involvement in the educational system, he never ever looked at, hey, we got a problem in Fall River. We're continually underperforming. We're continually underperforming. But no, he actually blamed the minority kids. And you know what he did with some people he counseled, like you'll never graduate.
Yep.
Yeah, talk about negative, because we're going to be branded as negative. These aren't our stats, people.
Those are from DESE.
That's right. That's it. These are from the Department of Education via statistics and testing they gave in Fall River. And the superintendent of schools' name is on the cover page of these stats, and we'll send you the link. But this is the problem. I don't know. Maybe it might be family, because obviously I was intimately involved when his brother couldn't understand what his job as a firefighter was, and he was a lieutenant that couldn't pass a captain's exam to compete against other lieutenants to make captain. But he decided in his mind he was totally qualified to be the fire chief.
Right.
Not just the chief, but the chief of the department. Because it had nothing to do with the fact that actually you have to know how to run a fire to be a chief. And you remember that letter I wrote to them?
Yep.
And I think I made it clear in that letter. It's like a PFC walking in and saying, oh, you know something? The hell with this basic training crap. Just make me a general. I don't know. You can't run a city unless you pay attention to what's happening in that city. He ignores crime, he ignores everything, and he tries to paint he puts on his rose-colored glasses and attempts to make everything as perfect. It's Mr. Rogers. We got Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. And this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. 3 through 8, they're going unprepared, and I can testify to that because I still can't spell or punctuate, and I can write, and you know that.
Yes,
I can write like hell.
Yes, you can.
I can write. I am a good writer.
You're a wordsmith.
I am a wordsmith that can't spell or punctuate. But you know why I can't? Because when I was in Davis School,
On Quikasham Street.
on Quikasham, which was like blackboard jungle.
Yes.
We had half the school was inhabited by kids that just got out of Shirley and Lyman School for boys. They were 15 and a half, and we were 11 and 12. And they were there assaulting teachers and hanging them out the windows. And, yeah, you remember that one with the principal. They hung them out the window when I was, that's right. That's what the environment that I went to. But guess what? We didn't learn. Because the teachers at Davis, when I went there, for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, they're more like police officers and monitors. They were trying to make sure nobody got stabbed. And by the way, I did get stabbed. My first day at Davis School in the 6th grade, I got stabbed after school by Grace Wong's, Grace Wong, the Chinese restaurant's kids. So we had gotten into a fight earlier, and his brother stabbed me when I got out of school. But that's what I went to. And I never learned how to spell or punctuate. I still suck at it. You know, the only thing that saves me is when I write papers, I used to have somebody check it for grammar and spelling, and now they have grammar check and spell check.
Right.
So I know the importance of being prepared in mathematics and English.
And as you said, all of this was when you were in your lower grades.
Yeah.
The lower grades set up the foundation.
That's right.
For how you will do as you proceed. And I'm looking at these lower grade studies, and I mean, they're terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, every one of the lower grade studies, English, math, and then even worse, science, technology, engineering, STEM programs, okay? Failing, partially meeting expectations. Partially meeting expectations is you failed.
Yeah.
You failed. Like it or not. I don't want to hear, oh, well, you know, we're meeting some of the expectations. No. You either meet them or you don't meet them. I don't get into this crap with having 4 levels of meeting expectations. Okay?
Well, you know, that's what they do, though, in education. They have to justify their fat salaries.
Yeah.
So you got to stick in not meeting expectations, which means like they get a 0, like they did in the report we did where they were graduating people who were reading on a 2nd grade level from high school. Now they stick, oh, well, we're going to say partially. That means that they can actually, like, spell
me.
or the. You know, so, but I mean, again, this is just reflective of the mayor, the Mr. Rogers mayor, that dances through and never looks at, like I said, go take an Uber. You never checked on how much an Uber costs or how hard it is to get an Uber. You think he'd do that before he gives out information? What's the next information? But we're going to be negative, even though everything we read. Commonwealth Magazine, Department of Education. These are not our numbers. These are facts. It's not negativity to evaluate what we're doing objectively, and that's the foundation of how a mayor realizes if he's getting his job done.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a great amount of information, and hopefully our audience can take it in and, you know, make some chop suey out of it or something, you know? I want to remind people that tomorrow at Kennedy Park will be Winter Wonderland. It starts at, I believe, 5 o'clock, and they are lighting up the park. They had a great event last Sunday, although the lights on the trees were vandalized. Hopefully there'll be no vandalization this weekend. Go and enjoy yourself and have a great time and celebrate the holidays. Maybe you'll get into the holiday spirit. I want to thank you all for watching, and remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. We'll see you on Monday. Thank you for watching.
Stay informed.